Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Ask Czarina Live. It's Thursday. Feels like I never left you guys, but I am here. Welcome. Hello. So, guys, I am super excited because I am finally like an official broadcaster of sorts. I've finally invested in a tripod. So I don't even want to tell you what kind of ghetto fabulous nonsense I was doing before I got a tripod to kind of prop my phone just so that you can see me and hear me and all the rest of it. So I am super excited that I no longer have to worry about that. I've got me a tripod, courtesy of Archon, courtesy of Black Bizscope. They hooked me up with the ill discount, and so I was able to get a tripod. So I'm excited, very, very excited. Thank you for those that have joined. I think I saw Chris M. Careers. Welcome. So, excuse me. Welcome to Ask Czarina Live. I am Janine Truitt. I'm your host. I am the Chief Innovations Officer for Talent Think Innovations LLC, which is a multidisciplinary business strategy consulting firm that focuses on HR strategy, tech advisement, digital marketing strategy, amongst other things. So I am actually newly rebranded. I was focusing solely on HR strategy for the longest time. And as I stated last week for the first show of the new year, I have decided to kind of broaden the scope of my business just because I needed it to speak to exactly what I was doing from a client perspective. And so I've been doing a lot and I feel good about it, and it's a new year. And so if you haven't kind of gotten the gist of what that is, you can certainly catch the replays at catch.me/Czarina of HR to find out more about the rebranding process and all of that. I discussed that last week. So let's hop into it. I'm excited about this week's topic. Oh, I'm so excited. Excited only because I feel like it so needs to be addressed. And I'm praying that what I share and what I say gets through to the right people, or that some people that have been behaving in this manner kind of think about what they're doing differently. So this week's topic is social media affluenza. And you guys are going to be like, what? What do you mean affluenza? Hey, Lataria. And I saw my hubby too. Hey, boo. Affluenza. Let's just start there. So not to get into the whole topic of affluenza per se, but there's this whole thing going on right now with that gentleman from Texas, if you want to even call him a gentleman, who, you know, has somehow been diagnosed with affluenza, which is, by the way, described as a painful, contagious, socially transmitted condition of overload, debt, anxiety, and waste resulting from a dogged pursuit of more. Whatever. So in any event, it is some sort of condition that has to do with one's place in society, let's just say. And so I kind of grabbed onto it and latched onto it because I felt like it spoke to what I wanted to get through this week. And so I attached it to social media for this reason. I love social media. If you follow me on the different platforms, and I'm on most of all of them, right? It's so ridiculous. It really is so ridiculous. I went to school for psychology, and I was in clinical psychology before I transferred over to industrial psychology. So I am always amazed at the things that they will come together with, or the things that people will drum up in a lab somewhere or on a therapist's chair and throw it in the DSM just to be able to explain a behavior. This one really goes quite too far for me. but I still remain amazed at what they can come up with to describe just poor behavior, which is what it should be called and not something clinical. But that's another episode. I'm not even going to get too deep on that. But what I wanted to talk about really, and why I attach this affluenza thing to social media, is because there is a group of people that are on social media that, because of the likes, because of the hearts, which thank you so much for the hearts, because of the accolades that come with being on social media, because of all of the things that come with social media, they seem to feel they are better than everyone else. And it has thoroughly gone to their heads. And there's just no going back. I mean, there's no going back. I don't know if they care. It's just, you know, they feel this sense of prestige and they've made it and it is what it is, and they're going to act however they're going to act. Now, it's not social media. I kind of addressed this like the first episode, and it's not the tools. I want to be very clear. So as far as social media is concerned, the platforms are just technology. They don't create the crap that humans create. It's the humans behind the technology that are a little too big for their britches. And so I want to highlight a few scenarios that I've come across of late, and even a few years back, to kind of give people an idea of how this works. Like if you're thinking about becoming a social media influencer, or if it is your goal in 2016 to be a thought leader, there is a way to do this. And so, you know, while I don't go around flippantly calling myself a thought leader, I know that I'm regarded as such. I know that I'm regarded as a brand influencer, and I take it very seriously. I've really come to work with some great brands over the years, some companies that I don't think I could dream of having worked with without social media. And so when I am contracted with a company, or when I get the opportunities to do really neat projects with companies, I kind of pinch myself a bit, not because I'm not worthy, but just because I realize how huge it is. And, you know, because I want more of that and because I want to be known as a reliable source, I try to put my best foot forward on social media always. So that doesn't mean that I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm just saying that I try to put my best foot forward from a digital perspective, on and offline. So I'm not different, you know, in real life. I just try to put my best foot forward and really be a very humble human being. Now, that's just me. And I guess some of what I've learned is that what you are in real life is what kind of funnels into what you do online. So basically, what am I saying? If you're a jerk in real life, you're probably going to be a jerk online. Just saying. So, you know, that's where that comes from. So let me give you some framework around like what I've been seeing that is just absolutely horrendous, ridiculous. Don't begin to get a lot of humility, plenty. And what interests me the most is the fact that brands haven't yet caught on to the fact. I mean, I think people definitely see right through it. Absolutely, Lateria. What gets me really mind-boggled, perplexed even, is that although brands have come a long way in terms of just looking at sheer followers, so like followers is a big deal, but I think brands are starting to understand that it's not all about your followers, that it, you know, there has to be a package deal. You have to have the right niche, and you have to, you know, kind of have the right voice, tone, etc. for what they, so the brands that get that, and I think those are the ones that are going to be the most successful. The brands that are still looking at sheer numbers and they're just kind of socially listening and looking for the superstars, the ones that have like millions of impressions because they just wildly blast information out there, or they've got hundreds of thousands of followers. Exactly. Integrity, not popularity. And latch onto them. These are some of the worst. So not all, but some of them are quite the worst. And I'll give you an example. Like, for instance, 2013, I'm like brand new on the scene. And this is my first time being on like a bunch of social media teams, let me say. And so I go to conferences, I get invited to conferences, and you know, naturally you've been engaging with people online for some time, and so you get excited. And so, you know, I wasn't like giddy, but I was excited to meet people I had been engaging with for like maybe 2 years at that time. So I go to these conferences, and you know, you start to see faces that you recognize and so forth. And I'm walking around and I say, and let me step back a second. Let me preface what I'm going to say by saying this. I'm an introvert. I think I've said this before. So that means that like in social settings, it's not really a comfortable situation for me to just walk up to people that I don't know and introduce myself. I've learned to do these things, and I do these things regularly because I know it benefits me, but it's not comfortable. It just isn't. So basically is what I'm saying is I'm putting myself out there. So in any event, I go to these conferences and I see these familiar faces, and I start to walk up to people and say, "Hi, I'm Janine Truitt. Nice to meet you." And in return, I get looks like, well, hey. Like they never engaged with me once. "Hey, Felicia, thanks for joining." Like they never saw me, like we never exchanged a tweet, like we were never on a tweet chat together. You know, some people as though they didn't, some as though they didn't specifically say to me before I got to said conference that they couldn't wait to meet me. I had people actually tell me they couldn't wait to meet me, and then got to that conference and literally looked at me like I had two heads when I introduced myself. Like, who freaking does that? Who does that? I'm sorry. And like, I'm not going to blow people up. I'm not going to use names because that's not how I roll. But if people replay this and they seem to figure out or remember a situation or an occurrence in which this happened, check yourself. Check yourself. It is ridiculous. It was to the point, it happened so many times at this conference that year that I basically almost didn't want to go to any more conferences. At least not with this group. Just didn't even want to go because I'm like, hold up. These are the same people that are sitting on Twitter chats talking about, oh, you need to engage and you need to be human and you need to be authentic. And then you get to a conference and you act like a jerk. Now, I'm going to step back from my soapbox and say that maybe, just maybe, they were introverts like me. And maybe they were uncomfortable too. Perhaps. I'll put that out there. Maybe. But judging on, right, talking the talk, not walking it. And a lot of these people make money off of telling people that this is how they should run their businesses and how they should be, but they don't do it themselves. They don't engage. Try to tweet them, they'll never tweet you back. Retweet their stuff, they'll never say thank you. This is just how they roll. Now, am I going to change that? I don't suspect I will, but I tend to feel, or the sense that I've gotten over the years is that you don't say anything about it, right? So early on, it was like, these were like the major players that were doing these things, and so you just didn't say anything because you didn't know if you were going to need them or what was going to happen. Well, let's just say it ain't that serious. It's not that serious, and so I don't worry about that stuff, and it is what it is. But my point is that it does not take anything for you as a social media influencer to say hello. It does not take anything. If somebody walks up to you and they are brand spanking new in any niche, and they have the gumption to say hello and introduce themselves, for God's sakes, say hello. Just say hello. Like, hi, how are you? Pleasure to meet you. If you don't like their face, you don't like what they're about, whatever, then move on and go ahead with your clique. But at least be nice enough to say hello. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that was then. This is now. So, years have passed. I've learned the lay of the land and the niches that I play with, and I know who's who and what's what, and I am very clear on how to comport myself. I don't know. They just have reached a certain point in their social media careers, if you will, that they no longer feel the need to be accessible, let's just say. I don't know the reason, but they've reached that level. They at that level. You can't touch them. You can't see them. They're just out there. Don't know. So, in any event, that was then. This is now. I have certainly learned who is friendly, who is not. I've learned to comport myself accordingly at these conferences and events because of what I've experienced. It has not changed me. I will continue to, obviously introduce myself and be the polite person that I know that I am. But, you tend to know who's who and how they're going to treat you depending on the situation. And that's fine. I continue to learn. So now, let me give you the more recent, exactly, engage. Because this is my brand. So I don't let people define who I am and how I do what I do. But I just think it's rather, it's a bit of an oxymoron to even be out there or putting yourself out there as a thought leader and be averse to engaging with people in a very real manner. Don't know how you do it. If you can figure it out, somebody can outline that and let me know how that works. I'm always willing to listen. So let me give you some of the recent situations that just blow my mind. So the first one, all lies. The first one was in a blogging group that I'm in. No names. So here's what happened. There is a huge, larger than life social media makeup maven, let's just say, in our case study, right? She decides she's going to take to her ever-increasing Instagram platform to discuss a political view, let's just say. Now, we all know, everybody says, stick away from the political stuff. Don't say it. Don't do it. Got it. Except this political situation had to do with a family member. So I assume that she felt compelled to, share her story about her family member because, one, she was proud of the family member. And two, she felt because she had a platform and all these followers that it was a good platform to get the word out. I completely get it. So while I don't indulge in political talk or banter on my profiles, I do get the whole idea of having a platform and understanding that sometimes having that platform is bigger than what you're actually doing with it. So for me, for instance, I have used my platform to talk about tech, to talk about entrepreneurship, to talk about, everyday HR woes. But I also understand that that platform is bigger than even those topics. And so I've never been afraid to tackle things like pay equity for women. Absolutely, Felicia. Thank you so much. Absolutely. So yeah, I feel like my platform, although that's what I decide to focus on, I feel like it's a little, it can be and it should be bigger than just that. And so I've not ever shied away from talking about race relations, diversity, women's pay issues, whatever, you know, all within reason. So anyway, back to this makeup maven. She basically, you know, went out on a limb and discussed this political situation with a family member who, you know, was putting themselves out there and wanted to shed light on it. Well, turned out some people didn't like what she said on her Instagram, and suddenly Instagram shut her down. To which, you know, she was obviously very shocked and very hurt because it took her a really long time to build up her following. And so I never even knew who this woman was, but how I came to know about her is that true, Lataria. So here's what happened. I was in the blog. I hate her for it. So, you know, here's the deal. I'm in the blogging group, and all of a sudden a screenshot of her page is in the blogging group with somebody who helped her at some particular point with her branding, basically saying, this is the reason why you don't talk about political stuff on social media. You know, I was the one that put her on to this celebrity, that celebrity, blah, blah, blah. But this is why you don't do this. Now, I have a problem. I get the fact that we don't do the political thing, but why? Why did this other person have to put her on blast in the blogging group? Like, let's just think about the steps here. She took a picture, she screenshot the woman's Instagram, saved it on her phone, signed into her Facebook, went to the group, uploaded the picture, all for what? To be able to say what, to either what, show the lesson and or to big yourself up or to make yourself feel better because somewhere along the line you helped her. And so it was said that she's real committed, too committed. You see how I laid that out for you? Too committed. Not only did she lay out the lesson, but she made damn sure to hop back on and let everybody know that she put her on to these 2-3 celebrities that were clients of hers. That is tacky. Sorry, it's tacky. Because this woman did, and then she said, this is not my circus. I'm not getting involved. The woman, as far as I know, and I stand corrected, as far as I know, the woman never publicly asked for her help. People were coming to her aid left and right. All her followers helped her to get that page back. Understand the lesson she was trying to teach, but you were trying to teach it at somebody's vulnerable moment, let's just say. The woman lost her Instagram. She worked hard at it. She thought she was doing something good by trying to support her family member. I completely get it. She did end up, by the way, getting her Instagram back. Probably no help from this person that decided to put her on blast in the blogger group. But, you know, again, another social media star who has kind of made her buck off of blogging and social and all of that, which is fantastic. But, like, don't get to a point where you think it's cool to throw people under the bus. She might have made several missteps. I personally applaud her. Not that I use my platform for politics, for going out on a limb because of the level of followers she had to support a family member. And that's the way I feel about it. But, you know, we should never be getting to a point where we just kind of lose all our ideals when it comes to values and how we treat people. It just doesn't make sense to me. So that one kind of stuck in my craw. Like it was just like a Sunday. I signed on. Hey, Brian Moran. I sign on and I see this, you know, and this is like a great group, by the way. Like, you know, I usually get so much out of it, but just to see just the steps that it took for this woman to put her on blast and then to see all these different people chiming in was just like, who does that? It's wrong. It's not right. It left a bad taste in my mouth. No, I don't think she's, you know, the devil's spawn, but it certainly doesn't make me feel like she's somebody I would want to work with if that's how she comports herself. So there's that. The third, the third person that I'm going to kind of put out there, case study, is, you know, somebody that I don't know personally, but somebody I've been connected to for years. And so, you know, hop onto Facebook and just happen to be plowing through. And you know what, quite frankly, Facebook is a bunch of randomness that I never quite understand. I mean, to each their own, but like I couldn't care less to let you know like every single moment of the day what I'm doing. I usually hop on Facebook to say things that are meaningful, profound, whatever, and if I don't have anything to say, I just won't say anything at all. It's a LOL for real, Lataria, because I just, you know, to each their own. I just can't be bothered. So anyway, this person hops on and he decides to, like, you know, clue everybody in on this supermarket run that he did. Yeah, well, you know, it's never always perfect. I just don't like to air out my dirty laundry. You know, if it's dirty, maybe it's soiled. I don't know. I like to keep a little something for me. So if that makes me a little inauthentic, so be it. I don't know. But anyway, this guy gets on and it's all about like his trip to the supermarket, which, you know, I can be humored by a supermarket trip, except then he gets into the fact that he was on the express line and the express line was held up by a woman who had WIC checks and food stamps. And she decided to do 3 different orders on the express line. And, you know, she happened to be a Hispanic woman. And how dare she be Hispanic and have WIC check and food stamps and be able to afford organic food for her baby when he has to use coupons and cut and contrive to pay for organic food for his own child, and that there are rules to be followed in society. And, you know, we should follow these things very carefully. And this woman broke the social rule because she held up the express line at the supermarket. So anyway, it got into it. If he had stuck to the annoyance of her holding up the express line, would have been one thing. Except it turned into like about a 2-day rant about her being on welfare, her being Hispanic, and people of certain ethnicities not having to subscribe to societal norms. Now, this guy is somebody who is pretty well known in the social circles, pretty well known, pretty smart guy, somebody that I regard fairly highly. And I'm reading this thing and I don't even know what I'm seeing. Like, I have no idea what I'm seeing at all. And so I don't usually get involved. Like, I don't usually say anything at all to people about their nonsense. But that day, I had to just, he's a good enough guy that I felt the need to say to him, like, you've gone terribly wrong here. Like, not only is he connected to me, who, like, I don't employ him or do anything with him, we're just colleagues, but, like, he's absolutely. And to that point, it's, again, like what I said in the beginning, it's not the tools. Like, when people say they hate Facebook, it's not Facebook. It's not Twitter. It's not Instagram. It's not Snapchat. It's how people use it. And, you know, we have the options to decide who we want to have in our different ecosystems around social media. And so, you know, I exercise that right quite often, let's just say. And people should do the same instead of complaining about the tool, because it's not the tool. You hate Brussels sprouts? I actually like those, Brian. You should roast them and give them some flavor. They're really nice. So, yeah, I just was so flabbergasted. Just so flabbergasted by this guy's nonsense and what he was willing to spew. I mean, it went beyond political rants. It was pretty ugly. And he had pissed off quite a few people. And I simply just said to him, like, you know, this is not you, and this doesn't seem right. And, you know, you're calling out this woman socio, my flabbergasted face. I don't know. That's the best I could do. My best flabbergasted face, right? So, just, you know, I just felt the need, like, as a friend and colleague, to say to him, like, you are making a real huge mess. That's my what. Well, you know what? Maybe it wasn't what the F face. It might have been. I mean, it was fairly lengthy, and you hate to see somebody that you think is inherently a good person just make a complete mockery of a situation and really, like, count themselves out of circles, opportunities, etc. So, I mean, people were quite combative. I didn't try to come combative. I just tried to point out to him how he might have misstepped in this conversation. And I said to him, I hope in a day or two you look back at this and really think about what you said and how you could have reframed this whole discussion. And he came back at me immediately, pretty much. He liked it, which was interesting. He actually liked what I said, and then came back and said, shame on me for not upholding the fact that people should have to, you know, somehow subscribe to societal norms, and that I like rule breakers, and on and on and on he went. And I wasn't there to fight with him. I was just really trying to kind of enlighten him to what was going on. And I unfriended thereafter, because now I just don't worry about this. Like, I know there's the unfollow, and I know there's the whole, you know, travesty with unfriending on Facebook, and people get all in their feelings. I don't even care anymore. Like, if I see crap I don't like, I unfriend. That's it. Exactly. Never argue with idiots or fools. I'm just not going to do it. And if I see stuff that's just really mean-spirited, I'm out. I'm done. I don't ask questions. I just unfriend. I don't give a crap. So I unfriended, and not but like hours later did I get like a message from him saying that, you know, oh, I think I may have gone too far in that thread, and, you know, I think you'd be fine, Felicia. I mean, if it's not one of your beautiful DIY projects, it's, you know, something good for all of us curly girls to learn about how to take care of our tresses, or it's something sports related, you're good to go. I mean, there's nothing for them to get from you. Some other people, I don't know. They should watch their backs for the things they say on Facebook. But so yeah, he got back to me, and basically it was, you know, hey, I'm sorry, I think things went wrong, you know, I'd like to talk to you, and on and on and on. And I'm still thinking, mulling that over. But the point I want to drive home is just that, not that I'm perfect, but just that I think that when you've been given this platform to be on social media, to be an influencer, or to be what they call a thought leader, which cringe, but anyway, to be that and have a platform in your respective niche where people respect what you say and they hang on your every word, I just think that it behooves you to be humble, to act with humility, to not forget that you were once where somebody else was, and that, you know, wherever you are today can change overnight too. I mean, we don't know really how long this social media thing will go on, or, you know, how long it will be all the rage. And so, you know, the question that I posed in my promo is, when the likes go away, when the lights dim, what do you want to be remembered for? And I love social media. I feel very blessed to have an opportunity to do what I do and do it on social media and have people care. But, you know, it doesn't define who I am. And so who you see here is who I am. Like, There's no difference between what you're seeing now and what happens in real life. And I just wish that more of my colleagues were like that. I don't think that they're bad people. What is that? What? Why? I can't. I don't even know, Brian. You have to tell me more. I just wish more of my colleagues didn't get so wrapped up in the hoopla. What you see is what you get. Absolutely. What you see here is what you get with me. As real and as raw as I am here, I am that in real life, maybe a little bit more. I just, that's what it is. So, again, if you are somebody that's thinking like, oh, I follow this person or that person and that seems cool and I'd like to be that. I'd like to be an influencer. I'd like to be known for my expertise in my niche. My advice to you is to be human and humble. Be humble. And don't let, follower counts get to your head. Don't let, brand affiliations or deals get to your head, because all of it is subject to change. There are people that when I first came out were huge in my niche. And like, you just couldn't go to any event without hearing their name. And this was when I was brand new to it. And I wasn't even coming into it thinking like, oh, I'm going to be an influencer. I was just doing me. That was it. And it's just kind of been rolling. Circle back to now, if you come forward a few years, I would say a good 30-35% of them aren't even on the scene anymore. They're gone. And if they are, and then the ones that are left, it's like down, and there are separate reasons for that. So everything's subject to change, and you just have to be thankful for the ride while you have it, and be humble and be willing to reach back and help. Like, people reach out to me that are brand new to blogging, and they're like, hey, Janine, how did you do it? What can you share with me? I'm happy to share. Like, and that's the honest truth. Like, you see me, you find me on Twitter, and you have a question, I will answer it as long as time permits. That's the way that I get down, because when I was starting out, there were a number of people that took me under their wing before I even knew what wing I was going under, and let me know what it was or showed me the way. And then there were people that didn't want to show me the way at all, because they didn't want me to know what they knew. And that's fine. I know better now because I did my research. So they didn't cheat me, they cheated themselves. But you just be humble, and don't let this crap go to your head, because one, it's annoying. That too, and that's a whole nother show. I can go on for an hour on that. That's a whole nother thing. Like making sure that you know what you know, right? Like, I stay in my lane. I know what I know, and that's that. I don't profess to know things I don't profess to do things in business that are not within my skill set, let's just say. And that was part of it, what Brian Moran just brought up, which is that some of these people I found over the years don't know they know nothing, basically. And they've built platforms because of the nature of social media. They've been able to build platforms that give a facade that they know a lot of different things, but when you get down to it, it's not very much. And that's their own business. I'm not even here to throw shade on things like that. Like, that's your business, that's your pockets, that's your finances, that's your reputation. I'm just saying that if anybody's watching this and you are looking at personal branding, you're looking at becoming an influencer, you want to be known for what you're good at, you need to get command of these things. It's not about the followers, not about the likes. I mean, it is. It's important. But you need to be worried about creating value for the people that you're serving. You need to know what you know and know what you don't know and stick to that. And you need to just be human. Absolutely. Absolutely, Felicia. So that's what I've got. That's what I've got tonight, and I hope it's helpful. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you, Felicia, for jumping on. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Lataria. I appreciate you guys so much. And if you want, actually, here you go. If you want to follow good people, like the person that I'm talking about, like to a T, Brian Moran, follow him. Good guy, right? Felicia Proctor, follow her. Actually, she's Felicia Tamer, but, right? So follow these people because they lead by example. Follow Lataria Patton. She's another one. Leads by example. About to do some big things, right? Follow good people. There's a lot of good people out there, and that's how I'm going to end it. So if you want to catch this, obviously this will be in queue for 24 hours. But if you should miss that window, you can always find it at catch.me/Czarina of HR. You can also find it on my YouTube channel, which is www.youtube.com/the aristocracy of HR. And I have tons of other videos there. So subscribe. And I will be back here next Thursday at 11 p.m. with another topic. So thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. And you guys have a great rest of the week. Oh, and stay warm if you're in New York. It's freaking frigid. It's ridiculous. Bye. Thanks, Felicia. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Lataria.